Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. This is Rishabh from Ascending Techie and today I'm reviewing the Logitech G213 Prodigy RGB keyboard. I've been using it since the beginning of 2021 and these are my thoughts. My initial impressions from unboxing were first, it's large and second, it is sturdy as hell. If you were to use some muscle to actually check, it would flex a little, but from my perspective, you could literally knock someone out with this one without any doubt. Maybe I'll use this metric in the future for reviewing keyboards. Knockout possibility on a scale of unconscious to dead, maybe. If you are watching reviews of this keyboard, you know that the wrist rest is fixed and not detachable. It is made of plastic and has a subtle curve to it, which is nice and comfortable. I've spent a lot of time with this keyboard at this point and have never once experienced fatigue for any reason. Let's talk about the design. There's a G logo up top and there are four indicator lights which are bright white and square. There's a game mode button which disables Windows key and any other key that you select when you turn it on. There's a dedicated key to turn RGB on and off. There's dedicated media controls as well, which work like a charm, making your life much easier. All the function keys double as macro keys as well, which you can set per profile using Logitech's G Hub software. There's also a subtle G213 branding on the right, which for some weird reason I wish was RGB. The cable comes out from top, slightly on the right, and it is a thick braided cable when compared to Logitech's own mouse. Flip it to the bottom and we have huge rubber pads at the bottom which are not going to let your keyboard move while in use. There are pads on top as well and below the small stands too, which is nice. I only use it with the stand open, which also gives the keyboard a good height lift. Also, there's no USB pass-through. Then there's the RGB, which is something that I appreciate because it's not too bright or dull either. Just the right amount of brightness for me. There's a complaint that I have though, which is that the white color on the keys is different than the white color of the indicator lights. It's kind of like a bluish tint. We will talk about the light styles along with the software in a while. Until then, we come to the keys. The keys have a nice curve where your finger can rest, right in the center of it. They have a good amount of travel to them and they are tall as well, just like a mechanical keyboard. This is how they sound by the way. I thought it would take me some time to get used to this keyboard, but within an hour I was already comfortable with it. It is also spill proof as tested on the Unicorn Reviews channel. Obviously, I'm not doing that to mine because I have to use it. Also, if you are sweaty, make sure you have the fans turned on, or else if you have your fingers on the same keys for a long time, for example while playing games, sweat will get accumulated in that curve. Off to the software then. Setting it up is no biggie. The first section that we have is LightSync, which will allow you to change the RGB on your keyboard. I have set it up as persistent across all the games and apps, but you can set it up as per each and every single app as you like. For the options, you can turn it off first, then second you can keep it all to a fixed color. Also, we have 5 RGB zones. So next up we have cycle, which will cycle amongst a single color on all the keys, and then we have color wave, which will change colors as per the lighting zones. From my experience with this keyboard, what I can say is that the default rate of 5000 milliseconds is so slow that you will actually start noticing the different zones. So what I would suggest is to crank this up a little bit, anywhere around 3000, and it would be much harder to differentiate each and every single zone. Also, there are options as to how you want the RGB to move, horizontal or reverse horizontal, so from one side to the other, and then center in and center out. Then we have the breathing effect, so you can set up a color and it will start breathing. There is also this screen sampler effect, which will select a zone and whatever color is dominant in that zone will be displayed on the keyboard. What you can also do is that move these zones around to select which area the keyboard will select the colors from. In my opinion, screen sampler is not something that you are going to use. Then we have the audio visualizer, which is kind of fun when you are playing music all the time. But if you are not playing music and you want the light to turn on still, you can set the background color to something else, for example white or something, so that the keyboard won't be turned off. Then there's the freestyle section where you can set up whatever you like for each and every single zone by yourself. So for example, I have this flag effect which will uh, select the RGB for the 5 zones, and it kind of looks cool. Something that I need to tell you though is that you have to select the color brush and then you have to draw like this to set it to a single zone. And it's kind of not working properly in my opinion because it's not at all neat. As you can see, we just got the color into 2 zones instead of a single zone. So pick up a color and select the zone, pick another color, select the zone. So that's your 5 zones right here. What's something that I don't like as well is that if you are using the same color on 2 different zones, it merges the zones so you can change them together. But in my opinion, it should not be so. The 5 zones should be shown differently so that you can set the color of each and every single one of them easily. You can set it up as well to allow the games or applications to take control of the RGB. Then there's one more simple thing that is the game mode. I think this should be set as persistent as well because they are the same keys that you are going to disable across all the profiles. Now by default it will disable the Windows keys on both sides and the options key over here. The other keys that I have disabled, which I would recommend you to do as well, are the print screen key so that it does not interfere with your gameplay, and the F12 key because while playing games on Steam the F12 key takes screenshots. For example, when I tried Trackmania and I would have to press backspace to go back to the previous checkpoint, I would accidentally also press F12, which would continuously keep on taking screenshots. So that's a tip right there. And then for the last, we have the assignments tab. So as I mentioned, the function keys double as macro keys. So by default, they function as the function keys F1, F2, F12, but you can also set it up to be used as macros. For example, in Valorant, I have set them up for different purposes. The macros are here as this no macro will press .34, so it will make your agent say no. So these are just some simple macros that will help you use your daily shortcuts much easily. Also, something that I use is in Resolve, I've used these two buttons for zooming in and zooming out of the timeline, which make my work much faster. Something else that you need to remember though is that if the keys have some default meaning to them, for example, as you can see, I have not assigned F2 and F4 to anything here in Valorant, is that in the training map or whatever it's called, the F2 key is used to change agents. So in case you do assign a macro to it, the F2 key gets disabled, and then on the top of that you're using the macro. Similarly for F4, if you're assigning something to the F4 key, you can't quit using Alter plus F4. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. So whatever function that you want to use over here instead of a single key, make sure that no default function is assigned to it because it will get disabled. So I think for the price, the Logitech G213 is a very good pick as a membrane keyboard because it is very much similar to the mechanical keyboards except that it does not have the clicky feeling at the end. Also, there's a reason that I chose a high-end membrane keyboard over cheap mechanical keyboards because this is what the price range where the cheap mechanical keyboards start at. So you should rather buy a high-end product of one category than moving on to the next category and buy the lowest end stuff over there. From my perspective, for the price, this is a very solid keyboard that will last you for a long time. It is very sturdy, it is mechanical feeling and much comfortable for using it for a long time. If you are into typing or you do work that requires a lot of typing, this is a keyboard that I would definitely recommend because it can easily double as your gaming keyboard. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel as well. I'm very thankful to each and every person who has subscribed to the channel and have helped us reach to 300 subs. So until next time, be kind to everyone.